Happy late Thanksgiving and welcome back to the channel, my pirates. Today we're going to be doing Mr. Kaido. This is the very old Kaido and it's the one from set 1. So Dawn 1, he gains a Dawn if you KO a guy while he's holding a Dawn. Very easy to do and a deck that's gotten lots of support throughout the year because you have 4 sets of support for this guy now. And the last one has been the strongest one yet, and I've been working on this deck profile for a while and I've finally perfected it to where I think it's the strongest it can be. I haven't gotten any tops out of locals yet with it, but I think it's pretty decent, and I'm always getting wins off of decks that are very popular. For example, for some reason, I have not lost to the green-purple Dofi yet, so it has some strong matchups. It's not bad at all. It's just not getting me the final win, but it's a strong deck nonetheless. Let's go to the deck profile anyway. We're going to start off with Onigashima Island. Of course, this is why the deck is so damn good, because it has this card that gives you free Dawn every single turn. We're playing 3 of it because in set 4, we've gotten the Searcher for it. And it's going to be the Who's Who, Hoo-Hoo. Hoo-Hoo is the on-play Searcher for Animal Kingdom Pirates card. And since he's blue, he'll search your blue ones and your purple ones. So he's the guy that searches Island. That's why you don't need to play 4 of Islands. You can just do 4 of him. Because essentially it's like you're playing 7 copies of Island because he will find you the Island. And then he digs for 5, so that's pretty deep. Up next, I'm playing 2 of Don Quixote del Flamingo. It's a blocker. On play, you just look at 5. Another way to search for your island if you don't see any of those cards. And then when you do see island, then you see Who's Who. Who's Who searches for about 90% of your deck because this deck is majority Animal Kingdom Pirates. Up next, again from set 4, we've got Sasaki, 2K counters, an Animal Kingdom Pirate card that will return all the cards from your hand and mulligan your entire turn basically. This is just an emergency activation. If you have a super bricked hand after you mulligan, you can play him to, potentially save yourself from losing. So 4 of him is a must because he is 2K and one of the best 2Ks for the blue color. Up next, I'm choosing to run the Sentomaru package fully at 4. This is going to be our stronghold in the beginning of the game. And of course, you're going to need Pacifistas for him. As we all know, he plays Pacifista right from your deck. I'm choosing to play the one with the counter in hand, just in case in late game you want to discard this instead of playing the blocker Pacifista, but that's completely up to you. You can mix up the Pacifista ratios, whether it be him or the blocking Pacifista. Sentomaru in total cost about 6 Dawn to activate because you need to play him. Then you have to give him a Dawn, then you got to rest 2 more, so that's 6. But you can just play him, and then on the next turn it only costs 3 Dawn to do his full effect. And then you're good after that. So a very strong card to play in the deck. And I'm choosing to play for ulti. Of course, another Animal Kingdom Pirate. She's old, just like the Kaido card, but she's 2K, very powerful. And Dawn -1 effect is something that we are going to try to use in this deck because I'm playing the page 1, page 2 combo, which is the one where she plays her brother out from the hand, which is this guy. 4 for 6, even if you don't. So not a bad way to go. And this deck is very good at flooding the board, as you can see. So you got Sentomaru, they can play Pacifistas. You've got ultis that can play page 1s. So overall, that's pretty good. And then mandatory for the purple decks so far, it's Queen, the blocker, Dawn -1, pure hand advantage, draw 2, discard 1. So that's good because your deck has a lot of cards that are not so important in the hand that you want to discard. For example, if you draw 2 islands, you'll never need a second island, so it's a free discard with this guy. So that's our highest blocker in the deck. Up next is just a 5/7 vanillas, Babanuki or Roki. They're the exact same card, and both Animal Kingdom Pirates. That's the important part. Whether you like to play the bearded man with the horns or the mustache man with the horns. That's up to you. But 5/7 is a good stat line to play for the mid-range, for the middle of the game, when you're on turn 5 or 6 or whatever. Up next, more 2Ks. It's X-Drake. And just for the on-play affected, minus a Dawn to trash a card from the opponent's hand if you got nothing else better to do. It's not that bad. So I made room for that. 2 2Ks. I've got 1 of King. I still think King is pretty kink. He looks like a kink. But anyways, King is my Dawn -1 to KO guy that costs 4 or less. He's not that great anymore, to be honest. I think he's been overpowered by other cards that are just better than him. But I still find the room for 1 because it comes up every once in a while. Sometimes your opponent has a blocker that you might want to kill, and then you're left with a 7K body on board. So it's really not that bad. I might cut him out in place for this other card that I'm playing now. From the very newest set, the newest deck, it's the structure deck Captain Kid. ST10 on play, and when attacking you -1 to give your leader 1000 power for 2 total turns because it lasts until the start of your next turn. So I'm playing 2 of him. Like I said, you might want to cut king and put 3 of him because he's just so damn good. And I think that is what I'm going to eventually end up doing. But since your leader is a 4 life guy, you're going to need all the help you can get. And this guy is certainly part of that by boosting your leader like that. So very good card. And it happens every single turn that you can do it. So if your opponent does not deal with him, it's going to be a problem for them, like even worse. Up next, we've got the Rushing Kaidos. This one is my favorite. It's the one that's on play. You don -5. You KO something with a cost of 6 or less, and then he gets rushed. So 6 cost or less is pretty huge to wipe off the board for free. And then my favorite thing with this deck, because you do play Island and you have this leader's effect, I can show you this very fun combo that you can do. So when you have Island on your board and you have your leader, you give your leader a Dawn, his effect will be active, right? So that's in you're at 9 Dawn. Then you're going to play the Rushing Kaido. You play him, activate the effect, Dawn -5. You KO an opponent's character. Because it was KO'd, you get to get 1 more Dawn active already on your leader Kaido. So then you can swing for 11 if you need to. Or 6 over here or whatever you have on board. And then you rest your island and then get another Dawn back. Then you're at 7. The following turn, you're at 9 again. So you can essentially play 2 9-drop Kaidos in a row. Back to back after the turn. So that's pretty something cool. Something really cool that only this blue and purple Kaido can do. With the island on the board. But that's just a really neat combo that you should know that I do end up doing often when you decide to hold 2 9-drop Kaidos in hand. And up next, for bigger balls cards, we've got 10-drop Kaido, the new blue one. This is the one that returns a guy that costs 8 or less, and one that costs 3 or less to the hand. Very good removal for the end game. If you have your own 9-drop Kaidos, this is the Kaido you want to play for the following turn. If not, I'm still keeping one of this. It's the old board wipe Kaido. This is the one that's on -6 to basically erase the entire board. Well, except himself, because he's going to sit there. So sometimes the situation calls for him. Sometimes the situation calls better to use the blue one. So that's why I'm playing one of each. Because if your opponent's going for board and you're having less characters, you want to play this one. And if not, you're already in advantage. You use this to remove just your opponent's characters. So that's why you have your choices. And that's why we're playing cards like Queen that can discard them. If it's bad for the matchup, you can just take out the worst one from your hand. And more cards to discard that we're going to use is Jet Gatling. Jet Gatling, you just trash a guy and then gain 3,000 power. So for a nice little surprise attack, because you don't need any active Dawn to use this. And like I said, that's why you can discard cards you don't need, like one of your boss cards here that's either King, the Kid, or any of the 5 Kaidos that we're playing here, because you're not going to need them all the time. So a great way to get rid of them and use them is with this. Up next, I'm playing 2 Blast Breaths. Very old card. This gives you 4,000 power for having 1 Dawn up. And you -1 Dawn, but it doesn't matter because we play Island. So we get our Dawn back very quickly. One more event here is Judgment of Hell. One of my favorite purple cards. It's -3,000 power to 2 guys, so you're essentially stopping 2 attacks for the price of 1 card. Love it. And last, I made room for the 1 card of Gum Gum Red Rock. Just the 1 full removal of the game. Anything that you want to get rid of, anything that your opponent is bigger than your Kaido. Well, the Rushing Kaido can get rid of stuff. Obviously, the board wipe Kaido is better than Red Rock, but we play Red Rock for any problem guy. Anyways, this is the full deck profile. And I'm going to neaten it up so you can see the ratios much neater than this mess I made. So there we have it, the full deck profile with a better view for you guys to see all the cards and how much of each we play. In the horrible glare, it's going to be the 9-drop Kaido, just so you know. But yeah, I wouldn't really change anything much from this deck except for a few ratios of the cards that are already in it. For example, I might want to be cutting out the King for a Kid. If you don't like or like one of the Kaidos even more, sometimes you might want to do more Rushing Kaidos, less of the 10 drops, or one of the other 10 drops to swap for the other one. But yeah, this is a really fun deck. It's really old and it's gotten lots of support throughout all the sets that he's gotten, and maybe he'll get even more. And if you're a fan of the deck, I hope you try it out, and maybe you can start topping at least at a local level or something. But I've gotten close, but I'm going to keep trying and messing around with it. It's a really fun deck. There's not any other deck like it where you get to ramp up Dawn like crazy. And of course, a nice KOing ability. So that's going to be the deck profile. Really short and easy for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I want to talk about, real quickly, look at all these beautiful alt arts. I'm so happy that Kaido got all of the alternate art support that he's gotten. And maybe we'll be getting a manga Kaido soon. Like and subscribe for a future manga Kaido, guys. We need that. All right, peace.